Birmingham Sloss Furnaces, from 1882 to 1971, converted coal and ore from surrounding acres into hard steel that paved the way for industrialization. From skyscrapers in New York City's dazzling skyline to automobiles being produced in Detroit, the United States has come to rely on Birmingham and Sloss Furnaces for the materials required to create thousands of items. Birmingham grew from a village into a metropolis practically overnight, earning it the moniker the Magic City. James Wormwood, nicknamed Slag, was foreman of the graveyard shift, when between sunset and sunrise a skeleton crew of nearly 150 laborers fed the furnace. Temperatures in the factory would reach more than 120 degrees during the stifling summer months. Working the furnace was literally a living hell for these men, who were desperate for work and worked it out of necessity. Workers who were brought in from the countryside to help with construction and install furnaces on a nearby shipyard had no choice but to live in primitive apartments on the furnace site, and they may be forced to return to work at any moment. Wormwood made his employees take hazardous chances in order to impress his bosses. He forced them to speed up production by making them do dangerous things. During his reign, 47 individuals lost their lives, 10 times more than any other shift at the blast furnace. Accidents, errors, and even a recorded explosion in the little blowing engine house in 1888 burned away 6 workers' eyesight. There were no holidays or vacations, just the furnace and its insatiable appetite for more and more coal. In October 1906, James Slag Wormwood, the foreman who was known for his bad temper, slipped on the top of the blast furnace, known as Big Alice, and fell into a pool of molten metal. His body evaporated almost instantly. It was said that Slag became dizzy from the methane gas generated by the furnace and lost his balance, although Slag had never ascended onto the furnace during his years of service. Many people believed that the laborers had had enough of Wormwood's slave driving and fed him into the furnace, but no workers were ever charged. The graveyard shift was soon discontinued by Sloss Industries, citing a slew of accidents and odd occurrences that reduced steel production. After his disappearance, the myth of Slag grew with each passing year. Workers reported a strange presence they encountered more frequently throughout the job location. In 1926, a night watchman was attacked from behind and told irritably to return to duty by a deep voice. The man, on looking around the grounds, could discover no trace of anybody else alive. In 1947, 3 supervisors vanished. All 3 were discovered unconscious and confined in the tiny boiler room in the southeastern corner of the factory, where they could not tell what had happened to them. They all stated that a man with severely burned skin accosted them and demanded they push some steel. The most frightening experience occurred in 1971, when the night before the plant was to close, Samuel Blumenthal, Sloss night watchman, found himself face to face with the most terrifying thing he had ever seen. He described it as evil and a half-man/half-demon who tried to push him up the stairs. When Blumenthal refused to move, the monster began beating on him with his fists. Dr. Jack Barlow discovered Blumenthal engulfed in severe burns on examination. He died before returning to Sloss Ironworks. More than 100 cases of suspected paranormal activity have been documented in Birmingham police records at Sloss Furnaces. From minor events such as steam whistles blowing by themselves to major sightings and the rare bodily assault, there have been a variety of incidents. It's worth noting that the majority of these reports come from September and October at night, when the old graveyard shift was in operation. Some claim it is the restless spirits of Slag's murderous crew, or that it is a Halloween prank. In 1988, the Center for Paranormal Events, CPE, in St. Petersburg, Florida, conducted a study on Sloss Furnaces. While no unusual events occurred during the study, which took place in May, several of the team members, including 2 psychics, felt that because of the violent disregard for and loss of life, Sloss Furnaces was an excellent candidate for a location rife with restless souls. In 2000, the paranormal team of Fox's Scariest Places returned to Sloss for further investigation, determining it to be one of the most unnatural energy-charged sites they'd ever investigated. In early 2002, a skeptical CBS affiliate WJTV crew investigated the site. They left shaken and persuaded that Sloss was haunted, capturing fantastic footage that may be watched on their website. Another investigation was conducted in 2003 by the Alabama Foundation for Paranormal Research, which stated that there is no doubt Sloss is a hotspot for paranormal activity. During our investigations, we gathered data that demonstrates through our scientific methods and approach that energies are present that cannot be explained. Sloss is one of the most paranormally active locations our team has investigated. On October 4, 2003, another assault on one of our employees occurred. After seeing a strange shape, Josh Thomas, a longtime Sloss employee, caught fire. He had burns on both sides of his body and was taken to the hospital. He still has no idea what happened to him. This was almost on the precise 32nd anniversary of the Samuel Blumenthal burn assault, night watchman from 1971. In 2005, two psychic investigators from the TV show Airline visited Sloss Furnaces during filming. One of them began to spontaneously bleed from a wound in his right hand, stalling the investigation. But not before the camera crew witnessed spectral images on their cameras. In 2009, the Unexplained Mystery crew investigated Sloss and were shocked to film spiritual shadows on camera, as well as in 2012 when the Ghost Adventures team came and were physically assaulted. This was also caught on film. In 2014, ghost hunters, TAPS, visited Sloss Furnace and recorded extremely amazing video footage suggesting that there is indisputable spiritual activity at the site. Since then, they've returned to gather still more proof. The Sloss Furnace team, like everyone else in the world of paranormal research, is on a continuing mission to document these sightings.